All right. Hello, everyone. I am Wallaber. I am back um, for probably just like a relaxing kind of shortish probably stream tonight. Wanted to keep making some progress on my Twitch chat game. So that's what we're gonna pick up working on today. And the last stream I did was really great. We had a raid, and so we had a very good play test of the game. And a bunch of ideas came out of that playtest to make the game a little more interesting. One big one that came out was that the pacing of the game probably still needs some work, and that I need to probably add some downtime of some kind to the game. Um, Fly right there. Missed him. They probably need to add some downtime to the game. But, oh, that's Ski Freak. Hi. Welcome. Good to see you. Good evening. At least it's evening over here for me. All right. So there were a couple of things on my to-do list based on that playtest that I thought I'd hop on and work on a little bit. The first one, which I think was a really great idea, is to change the scoring system around a bit. And I think well, let's just go through the basic idea. So the basic idea was to make it a little bit more like betting. So, hey, Ski Freak, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Good evening. Yeah, so from the last playtest we did, there was some good feedback, and one of them was to make the scoring a little bit more like betting. So basically, it would be that if you bet, if you get your prediction in early, that the score value or that number you see there is what you're putting at stake. So, for example, the 1,000 would mean if you get it wrong, you lose 1,000. But if you get it right, you get odds on that 1,000 because you bet it early, and so you get like 1,500. Let's say it's 1.5x. And then if you skip the 1,000 round and it goes to the 750 round, now I would say it's 1.25x. Let's say, which means if you fail, if you guess wrong during that time, you're going to lose 750. But if you get it right, you get whatever 750 times 1.25 is, and then and then the next tier down, last tier would be like even odds. So you're either going to gain or lose that amount. And then I think what we do in this case is we let you be AFK. We have to solve the AFK problem. So, or not problem, but deal with how to handle AFK. Because obviously, if we don't do anything, if you just don't vote, nothing happens, then you would be incentivized on a difficult one or something to just not vote, which isn't too bad. But if you're gone, so my current plan is we let you do that, but you can't skip, say, more than 2 in a row. So if you really did actually leave the stream, then you're going to start losing score, which makes sense. You're not around anymore, right? The whole point is to earn points while you're actively, predicting. So I already have a threshold there for how many AFKs before we start subtracting, so I think that can work. Ski Freak, my only idea is to check if the player made any chat messages during the last minute or so that weren't part of the game. Oh, okay. Yeah. And kind of use that to distinguish between different kinds of AFK. Yeah. Um, right. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think what we'll do is we'll just change the threshold so it's like you can skip 1, maybe even 2, max of 2 or something like that. And any more than that, anything past that threshold counts as a fail. Counts as a fail on the last tier. So you would lose however many points as if you had just waited to the last and then guessed wrong, I think is the plan. And then I think with this system, you're going to be losing points a bit more than you used to. If you're playing, your score is going up or down. It's never just staying static. And yeah, we can simplify things a little bit. So I like this idea quite a bit. So we're going to go in and make these changes. So right here we have basically the data that describes one of those voting sections. You know, where from the beginning of the playback do we go? Where to, you know, what percentage of the playback are we showing? How long do we show it for? AKA, how long do you have to vote for it? And what's the score value there? Um, so what we need is we need a public float payout multiplier. And what was frame repeat? What did this thing do? And a non-aggressive system check for if people are typing normal messages in chat. Yeah, I'll think about that a little bit, Ski Freak. I think that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I guess kind of what you're saying is, if they were typing, but they weren't guessing, it means they were around and attentive and like actively chose not to vote on that round, and that would be different than if they had just actually started lurking or whatever, or missed it. Right. And in that case, I suppose we could choose to say, you know, you're not getting the AFK generosity. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll probably have to see how it play tests. I think I'll try it without that first, but I do like that fallback. If we see that that's a pretty, like, if people are winning by just like doing that over and over again, where they vote one, then they don't vote two, and then they vote one or something, then we can have a look at that. Okay, so we needed to add this payout multiplier thing. And then down here we have the AFK penalties, but now this is actually going to be no longer a scoring. Well, let's see, this should be 0, 1, 2. I think this is on the third one right now. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, this is interesting. You know, anytime you make anything with some kind of competition and a scoring system, then all these weird incentives pop out of it for different behaviors, and then you got to decide which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to reduce, right? So right now the way AFK works is like it's free for the first two. This 0 doesn't really count. So it's free for the first two, and then you lose 100 points, 200, 300, 400, and then 500, 500, 500, 500. Now we could change this to just be that you just lose as if you had guessed wrong. This escalates it so that if you leave, you kind of drop faster and faster off the leaderboard, which is I kind of like. So maybe we'll leave this concept as it is. And then win streak bonuses, we can leave this concept in, but I don't know if I actually want it there at all. No. Okay, so we've got this payout multiplier. So basically, yeah, and we're going to do a thing here. The vote meter is going to need to display this now. So we also need the float payout. And we're going to have, we have a score label, but we're going to have another label now. Payout label. Okay, so this would still be this, and then payout label dot text is going to be, let's see. So payout's going to be a number like 1 or 1.25 or 1.5. So that's pretty simple. We just want to do, we can do like, we'll just do it the simple way. We'll do payout dot toString with an N2, because we want to show up to 2 decimal places. And then we're just going to append an X. And maybe we'll add the word payout. Let's see how that looks. So if people want to be rules liars, they won't be able to interact normally with the stream. So they basically have to care enough to no-life the chat game, right? Which is a lot less people than that would normally just realize that the AFK system is abusable. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Of course, there's people also who just don't talk very much in chat, but would like to play the game. But yeah, I still think it's an interesting idea. Okay, so we have support now for showing the payout. I mean, I'm gonna have to update the UI, but we've got the code. So now we're gonna set this, and we're gonna set the payout. Motzi makes, hello Motzi, and resubscribing again. Oh wow, 3 months. Well, Walber, no, so glad to meet you, Walber, and thanks for your help. So thank you, Motzi. I don't know if you're actually in chat right now, Motzi, or if that's just a ghost subscription event, but either way, thank you so much. And I got I changed my alerts slightly, ever so slightly, so that's cool. Thanks again, Matzi. As always, you were the first subscriber to this channel, and will always remain the best. Yeah, Ski Freak, I think it's an interesting idea. I definitely want to play test it a little bit and see how it goes. Hey, Matzi. Okay, you are here. Hello. I'm sure you're busy with children and whatnot. Okay. So, to type words. Yeah, I saw the message there, so I assumed you were around. Okay. You know, Matzi, he knows how to make an entrance. That's for sure. Okay, so now we're going to go down here. Where else do we do base score? Where do we actually award points? Oh, okay, we have this thing called current vote score. Right. Matzi, you're 2 hours ahead. Oh, that's right, yeah. Oh, so it's kind of late over there. You didn't stream today, did you, Matzi? I didn't see you on there. I was on and off Twitch most of the day today, as usual. Current vote score. Okay, so we're just gonna simply also have a float current vote payout. Okay, now let's go look at where we actually do stuff with this. We set this to 0 here, so let's set current vote payout to 1.0. It's kind of like the default value, right? And then right here, payout equals reveal steps. One thing I was thinking about the way this code is structured is that if I want to add like different modes, it's going to be a little... Oh, you just do Tuesday, Saturday, Monty? Okay. I had not internalized your schedule. And then I know Fridays, though, right? Fridays are Composey streams, correct? Okay, so that's that. And then we go right here. Payout equals step dot payout. Right. I remember why I did this. Okay. Now, here we go. Okay, so here we are. This is the meat and potatoes. This is where we get the actual vote. And we mark down their pending score, which we then actually apply at the end of the round. And so we say, hey, are we in the state where we're showing the trajectory? Okay, try to parse if it's a valid vote. If it is, yeah, we subtract 1 from what they typed, right? So if you type a 1, we turn it into a 0, so it's in proper computer language. And then we check and make sure that's inside, or if it's outside of the range, then we complain about that. Okay, so then if we make it down here and valid vote is still true, then we're happy and we know the bucket we're talking about. So then we try and find the user in question. And if we find them, if they already have a pending vote, then we complain to them and say, you don't get to redo your vote. But if they don't, then we accept their vote. And so right here, so we have pending score equals current vote score. So this is also, yeah, it's kind of dumb that I'm about to go add like a member variable to this just to remember per player, but I guess that's probably the simplest way to do it. I mean, instead, really what I should do, you know what I should do? Let's do this. Let's do it maybe not the right way, but the slightly better way. So we're going to go to here. Go to the definition. Is your game state just a static object? No, although what we have here is some code that's getting a little out of hand in terms of size. We have this really big script right now called Game Manager that is doing way too much at the moment. It controls the game state, like toggling between simulating and then revealing and then doing the recap. It doesn't do the recap. I at least move that out. You know, I move that out into its own little recap sequence object. And really probably the next step would be to pull out the simulation and put that in its own thing, and then pull out the voting and put it in its own thing. So then I can swap these things in and out. Like if we'd have a different mode with different voting rules, I can just be like, oh, we'll just use this one now, you know, instead of the one we had before. So I can already sense that eventually I'm going to refactor this, especially if we keep adding to this thing. Okay, so what we're going to do is pending vote is their actual bucket they chose. So we're going to keep that. But then instead of pending score, we're just going to say vote step index. So before it was like when you voted, I would be like, oh, was it 1,000 right now? Then let me jot down 1,000 for you. And then someone else voted, and I'm like, oh, is it 750 right now? Okay, jot down 750. Instead, now what I'm going to do is say, oh, are we in step 0 of the sequence? Just jot down the 0, because then later I can go look up in the step what's its score and what's its payout instead of having to like keep those as separate notes somewhere else in the code. So we're going to go like this. This is going to introduce a bunch of little red things over here, and now I get to scroll down and go through my red things and fix everything. So right here, when we clear out data, we're going to say, what was it? Vote step index is going to be -1 is the universal standard for an integer that is like meaningless, and a meaningless index. So we might need to write some code to survive if that's still the case somehow, or at least respect that somewhere else. But let's keep going. Okay, so now here we are, and we are doing the recap. Okay, so here we go. So when we come through here, we're going to be like, okay, go through all the players. Did they actually vote this round? Reset their AFK streak. Did they get it right? If they did, increment their win streak and set their lose streak to 0. Look up what their score bonus should be and append that to their score, but that we don't want to do that. We're going to say, and then we say int base score equals, so what we need to do right now is we need to go recap step, not recap, what do they call it? Something step, reveal step. So their vote step equals reveal steps, and the index into that is e dot vote step index. And I think it's safe to assume that is a valid value in this code flow, rather than introducing even another if statement. I mean, we could, but let's just we can print out the index up here. Okay, so basically we said, okay, what step in the sequence did they vote in? And then we can use this to figure out what their score should be, which is, it should be the integer that is the result of vote step dot base score times vote step dot payout multiplier. Okay, and then pending score does not get incremented here, right? Or it doesn't exist anymore. And is that going to be okay? I'm just realizing that there may be a spot down here. Yes, where we want to know. I can't stick around. I was actually getting ready for bed when I saw the Twitch start myself. Oh, well, thanks, Motzi. Thanks for hanging out. Always appreciate it. Have a good night. Get some sleep when you can. You got young kids. I understand. Very, very much. Okay, so we do have a thing down here where... Yeah. Hope you have a good stream tonight. Thanks, Motzi. Appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to run into a bit of a problem down here that I got to think through a little bit, but I never really liked the way I was doing this anyway. So let's go up here and think about this. What do we... I mean, so this is essentially going to go away. Okay, you know what? Actually, here's what it is. Here's what it is. Up here, this thing still needs a public int. And we're going to call this score change. Okay, but this is really just going to be used temporarily, but so be it. So when we're down here, instead of pending score, we're going to say e.score change equals base score plus score bonus, which we may not actually use that score bonus, but we're going to keep it in the math for now. And then we're not going to touch cumulative score anymore. No, we are. Sorry. Cumulative score plus equals e.score change. Okay. This is so that I want their score saved at this moment. I don't want it to actually get applied later in when we go into the recap. I want it right here is when I want to decide that that's their new score, which is it's kind of, I don't know if that's the best sequence of events, but whatever. Okay, now if they got it wrong, this is if they got it wrong. So we increment their lose streak, we reset their win streak, and then we decide what to do. And now their score loss is no longer going to be their cumulative score divided by 2. Their score loss is going to be, we got to look up the step again. Maybe this actually, you know what? We could pop this up one level right here. So vote step, because it applies to both cases here. We use it here times the multiplier to increment their score, and we're going to use it here. We're just going to do vote step dot base score. So you're going to lose the number of points that round was ostensibly worth without the payout multiplier. Okay, now, yeah, good. Okay, and then we're gonna set. This is interesting. Why didn't I set that? E dot score change equals negative score loss. And then cumulative score minus equals that, but we clamp you down to 0. We're not letting you go negative. Which I think is okay. It means when you're first starting out, or if you've failed hard and dropped all the way to 0, that you're incentivized to vote early and go for it because you don't have as much to lose. I think that's probably okay. We'll see. Okay, then here's AFK. So we increment the AFK streak and we decide how many points we're going to subtract from you. And if it's greater than 0, then we make sure you won't go below 0 here. And we set score change right here to point loss. Okay, then we go down here and we actually set up the and you know what? I'm gonna have to go make sure somewhere else that I set score change to 0 in another spot. But basically what we say is when we go into the recap, we temporarily undo what we did a second ago. So we know what your score was before all these changes so that we can show it to you. And then this becomes just score change. Okay. Okay. Oh, you know what? I never put on the music. I knew something was missing. Where is it? Where's my standard right here? This is our we won't get in trouble music. Okay. All right. So now we fixed most of them. What's going on down here? What's this one? Okay, now here's where we actually yeah, this is where we got your vote. Okay, so if it was a valid vote and it's a new vote, then we just say here we're going to say correct. Now we don't need this thing called current vote score. Sorry I'm jumping around so much in the code. It's a little tricky to kind of explain it clearly as I'm going here. But what we want instead is we want a thing called private int current vote step, which is different than the display step because we have a small lag to account for stream delay. So now let's go fix everywhere that's red for this. It's going to be like right here. Okay, yeah, so we're going to do this is 0, like that. And then we just say current vote step equals 0, and then right here there's some code. Where is this code? It's right here where we say now current vote step equals I, right? Is I, right? Yeah, well step is coming from I. Yeah, okay. Equals I. Okay. This is a, fair amount of changes actually, right? To changing the scoring logic. Okay, and then okay, and then down here, what we do, and this is where we are actually trying to say what's about to happen. So we do this. We say reveal step vote step equals reveal steps, and the index is current vote step. And then that way we can, if we want to display the score, which we still want to do, we do like this, and do it also here. I guess we don't even really need this debug.log anymore. This, we know, we've been through this code flow quite a bit. It's generally working. And then we do vote step index equals current vote step. Okay. Cool. And here is where we add a user, and so we say, first of all, score change equals 0, and vote step index equals 0. Okay. Okay, now, where do we clear out any pending vote data? So right here. We also want to do kvp.value.score change equals 0, just to be safe. Okay. All right, I think we got through most of the changes for this. Let's go back here to the project, see if it compiles. Has it compiled? It looks like perhaps it did. Okay. Now, let's go to our vote meter. Whoops. I don't like that. Why did it zoom out so far? Unacceptable. Unacceptable. This is a prefab, right? Can I look at it as a prefab? I can. Okay. So see here, we're going to change this up a little bit, I think. We're going to make this whole thing bigger. Like wider, I mean. Like maybe 8. Let's try 8. Wait a minute, sorry. That was just the text. Here we go. The BG, this thing is what, 3.5, so let's make this wider. Okay, so this needs to be yeah. Oh, this is the fill. So the fill needs to be nope, that's not right. Wait, yeah, it was. Okay, and then the frame. Or can this one be, should this one be 5? Probably. Let's look at this. How's the fill looking now? No. This needs to be -2.5. This needs to be. There we go. Like centered. And this is so we can change this. This is how we make this thing fill up. Okay. All right. And then fill max size is 4.9. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get another one of these. We're going to put it over here with the text left justified. And this is going to be our thing that says, like, 1.5x payout or whatever. Okay. So if that's our new vote meter, then we go like this and we set our vote meter to actually be, yeah, it would be maybe a good idea to make the origin of this either the center of this whole thing. Probably that's what it should be. If we just grab all of these and we move them over a little bit. That's close. We'll call close okay for now. So now if we do this, then we could be able to, we could just set this at centered on the screen. Something like this. Now, okay. There we go. Okay, now it's too big. So probably I can either get rid of the word payout. Let's call this vote meter payout label. Or we could reduce the size of this font. Or we could like do something like this. You know, and we could even do something like this where we say, can I do this? I can say make that word 75% size. That's kind of cool. Look at that. And then we would do something like this. I think that looks kind of cool. We may need a better... I don't know if we want drop shadow or just want an outline. Probably outline. Yeah, that's probably okay for now. Now this is going to be, this needs to be centered on that line right there. So more like this. Okay, now in my most narrow aspect ratio, it's not going to fit. So let's just try and make it fit into that size without making it like dynamic or anything. Be too wild. So let's make this 4.5. Yeah. How about 4.2, which means this one should also be 4.2. And this should be negative 4.2 divided by 2. Right? No, maybe not. This one can just be centered. And then it can be this. Oh, I see. Yeah, we got weird numbers going on here. Okay. And then the fill is not going to... We're gonna, you know, we need another transform in the hierarchy here. Okay. So meter root can be like whatever. What is this value right now? Let's copy this, paste it into this. There we go. Then bring this up like this, and then all of these go under there. And now these can be nice round numbers again. So that this can be, let's see, we're gonna make this, what was it? It was 4.4. So it's gonna be negative 4.4 divided by 2. Oh, no, this needs to be 4.1. So negative 4.1 divided by 2. There we go. Okay. So now we have this thing and we can like move it around as a unit. And now we can center all of this around that line right there. Okay, pretty close. Now we can tighten this up a little bit, like that. Which means this whole thing it's like that. Okay, that barely fits, so we'll call it good for now. Now this layout is going to mean that my little like text here is not so great. We also need to fix this. The event log has this thing called log text. Now is this a prefab? No, it's just a reference. So this script needs a color, use color from palette. We're going to use UI text, I think. Okay. Let's see, is there anything else we need to do? Yes, we need to set the payouts. So now we could say here, this first one that's 1,000, it's going to be 1.5x. Maybe we'll even make it 2x or something. We'll see. And then the next one is going to be 1.25x, and this one is going to be 1x. Yes. Okay. And then AFK needs to start at 150. Maybe we'll have it go up by that much each time. 300, 450, 600, 750. Might as well add one more. Go a nice clean 1,000. And the win streaks were too strong, I think. Like, you could really run away with things. And now kind of this concept is a little more baked into the payouts and stuff. So maybe we'll make this pretty small. We'll make this like max out at 1,000. So then this would be like, 750, 500, 400, 300, 250, 200, 150, something like that. Okay. The vote meter needed this thing assigned. Okay. Okay. Let's see if this even works. Okay, so I need to fix my text formatting on the 1.5x. But let's try it. So if I say it's going in bucket 3, it says Walter voted, so that's good. And then now we're down to 500 and it's 1.25x, so that's good. I wonder if there should be a slight pause where it lets the ball sit at the end of its trajectory for a second before it rewinds. Okay, so if I got this right, which I think I did. Oh, we gotta fix that. We're clamping. We need to clamp the thing. Okay, then we go to the results. Oliver should get 1,500 points. That is correct. Okay. Okay, saw a few bugs there. One of them was during the reveal sequence, the where is it? Where we actually set the so right here, vote meter progress equals clamp 0 to 1. Overall interp, set that to that. So how does it get larger than 1? Oh no, it didn't get larger than 1. I just didn't update my value. That's what it is. So this thing here, 4.1 is the largest number, so this needs to be a 4.1. Okay, cool. So that was an easy fix. Okay, let's fix this text formatting. So this string is something, I guess, I know what we'll do. Yeah, we're going to define that here. Private string payout format payout text format. And then what we do is here we say instead it's going to be string.format with this as the thing, and then we're going to pass in payout. Like that. And actually we could do it like this. We're going to pass in payout as a string, just to make our lives a little simpler. Because now we can do, assuming that compiles, so we can go look at this. We can grab this and say, okay, that is your text. Here it is. Oh, wait, let's go up here and let's mark this as multi-line. It changes the text input to be one that can show multiple lines and show carriage returns properly and stuff. So we should be able to, yeah. So it's going to be something like this, except instead of 1.5, we just put a bracket, a curly brace 0 to say insert number here. Okay. Okay. So now if we run this, it should say 1.50x payout. I don't really love that there's a 0 there. It would be better if it, like, smart enough to not show the 0 if it didn't need it. Remember how you do that? It might just be just n. Let's see what this does. N might do that. 2 might mean force it to 2 decimal places. Let's see. It's still doing 1.5. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, still doing 1.50. May have to look at that. May have to look up how to do that properly. Let's look that up real quick. This is the kind of stuff I often have to Google. So we want to do C# string formatting. Okay. We might want this standard numeric format strings. Come on. Click this one. Okay. Right. C is for currency. D is for decimal. N is a number. Desired number of decimal places. Looks like it defaults to 2 decimal places. Okay. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you can use the little, like, hashtaggy thing. Okay, is that really the case? So if I do N... we do it in the string format thing. Let's try it that way. So we get rid of this. We go back to here. And we set this to be, hey, it's 0. And by the way, it's a 0, dot up to 2 decimal places. There we go, 1.5. Now we'll see what it does when we get to 1.25, but that looks much better. I wonder if that 1,000 should say like bet amount or something. Okay, cool, 1.25. Looks good. Maybe I should just say bet colon. I like that idea. So this would be like... Oops. Something like this. Which I don't know why I wouldn't. We might as well be consistent here. Private, multi, yeah, could be multi-line. Private string, score text format. This gives us more options, and then we can just set this to be string.format, score text format, comma, and then pass in s. Okay. Yeah, and then I think the way we do this is here. We say this is going to be bet, and then it's just boom, 0, n. See if that works. Oh, I'm going to apply this. Okay. Do I need to do this? Or am I setting this text somewhere else? There we go. Bet 1000.00. That's we don't need that. It's n0. Okay. There we go. I wonder if all that should be inside the meter. Probably should, actually. Did we change the density on these spinners? Can't remember. I feel like I did. Yeah, we did set the density to 0.75. Let's make it 0.5. Okay. Okay, now I wanted to do something else. I wanted to test I think there's a bug, which is when it's possible for the ball to get stuck and then the whole system breaks, which wasn't supposed to be the case because I thought I wrote code to prevent such a thing from happening. So the way we can do this, to look into this, is let's make a new board. Okay, so we're going to call this board stick test. Okay. And we're going to add a wall to it. We're just going to very simply set this up such that like there's this like high chance that you could just get the ball stuck over here on the left hand side. Okay, and then we're going to plop this into boards as a prefab variant. We're going to get rid of it. Then we're going to go to Game Manager, and we're going to say that that's the only board that there is. All right. Now, let's go look at this logic, because here's how it works. Okay. the simulations routine. So here's what it does. It says, okay, we're going to do this thing while frame count is greater than or equal to max sim frames. So we have this concept of max sim frames, the maximum amount of frames we would ever want to, like if we make it that far, something's wrong, the ball didn't make it to the bottom. So what we do is we reset the ball, which if I'm correct, this re-rolls the random starting conditions of the ball. Okay? All right. So we reset the ball, we reset frame count, and we reset the bucket it landed in. And then we wait, and we loop through here, simulating the physics and recording the position of the ball. If the ball made it into a bucket, a callback occurs, which would set bucket ID to something other than, less than 0. And so then we know, sweet, we did it, we're out. And so we jump out of here, right? And we come down to here, we wait a frame or whatever, it doesn't matter. And then we make it down to here, and we get out of this because bucket is no longer less than 0. And then we get out of this because frame count isn't that big. Okay, now what about the case where we're in here and we're simming, and the ball gets stuck, and so bucket ID is never going to be set to anything. In that case, what's supposed to happen is we keep simming, we keep incrementing the frames, and we stay in here until frame count is greater than or equal to max sim frames. If that happens, which it will eventually happen, right? We pop out of here, and here we should not pass this. Or sorry, we should say yes, this is true. We need to keep looping because frame count is too big. And so then we go back up here, and we do this all over again, and we reset the ball, and we redo our junk. Now part of the, yeah. Now recorder, start recording. Does that do anything fancy? Let's go into this. Yeah, we actually should move this down. This should be here. Okay. We also need to reset the trail. Does this do that? It doesn't look like it. So that would be something like reset. Okay. So there's a couple things that were missing here. But it really shouldn't have mattered because frame count was the main thing we were actually looking at. Okay. Okay. So let's go look and see what happens when we run this. Okay, see, so we got this weird scenario here where... Oh, hi, Losing League. Thanks for stopping by. So we got this situation here where what's going on here? Game manager says it's simulating. So it still thinks it's simulating. Okay, so that's good. So what is going on here? Let's go look at the ball. Right, there it is. Oh, wait. Don't maximize on play. Turn that off. Okay. Okay, look, ball is like stuck. Messing with the game again. Yes, Losing League. I am messing with the game again. Okay, reset. Because maybe the problem here is just that this is really likely. Also, it's maybe max frames is set too high. This really long time before it. There, I found one. So it just took it a really long time to find a valid one. So, okay. The code works. Since we have this good test tier level, let's go find this. Yeah, this is 10,000. This seems way too long. Let's try a smaller number. Losing League, sorry, I was currently just testing something real quick here. Okay, there, it's like, yeah, okay, I give up. Yeah, okay, we found one. Oh, is this really gonna make it out? Apparently this is gonna make it out. This is a dumb layout for a level, but this was just for testing purposes. But Losing League, we did change the scoring based on the last playtest that we had, where we had kind of a raid come by. Oh yeah, okay, look at that, it did make it through. So let me let's actually try playing it for real now, so that I've confirmed my code isn't as dumb as I thought. Okay, one. We gotta put back in our good boards that actually work. Okay. Alright. So now let's try going maximize and run it. Okay. Yeah, so the way it works now, you see how it says bet 1,000 and then it says 1.5x payout. So if you put your bet in right now, like I'm going to guess this is bucket 1. If I got this right, I'm going to earn 1,500 points. If I get it wrong, I will lose 1,000. So it really is more like a bet now. And so you'll see here that in a second, once this round of voting is over, now it's 500, but it's only 1.25x payout because you get to see more of the ball trajectory. And now it's going to mean that if you guess wrong, you just lose the points that are at stake here. So the 500. Like if you bet now and got it wrong, you'd lose 500. If you bet now and got it right, you'd get what, 750 or something. Or no, less than that. Now it's 150 and it's just 1x. And then it looks like, yeah, lower gamble, lower payout. Yeah, it's kind of like odds, like your odds of getting it right are increasing, right? So let's see how this went. Okay. So you didn't have any points because it was the start of the game. So, oh, you had 1,000 points actually. I guess it did. Oh, that's weird. That's weird that it showed you 1,000 and then took you down to 0. That's kind of dumb. That's a bug. Okay, so we'll look at that. This layout, I think, is the... showing the loss is fine, but you never had 1,000 points. You know what I mean? Like, 1,000 points were at stake, and in theory, what happened just now is you lost 1,000 and stayed at 0. Let's see, where is this going? This is going in 3. Yeah, like now I have 1,500 points. And so we should see that number, and then that number would go up or down. I think this is just that there's a special case where if you didn't have as many points, yeah, I think my logic is a little janky there. Okay, here we go. Okay, so in this case I got it right, but I voted later, so I got 775. Losing League, you lost 500 again. So yeah, that's showing the thing. Yeah, the zoom in is new as well. It's much more dramatic now on the second round. Ooh, okay, here we go. This one's gonna be interesting. I shouldn't have voted early because I have more to lose, but what the heck, right? Let's see what we get here. I was just thinking that maybe there should be a slight pause before it rewinds and plays the trajectory again. It's a little hyperactive how it just like instantly rewinds. I think it should probably have a little delay. Fade out is a good idea. That's cool. Although if I fade out, then I guess I wouldn't. I would just not do the rewind, which could maybe is better than the rewind actually. I did like the rewind in the case where there's the rotating objects because it kind of makes more sense why they're resetting. Ooh, so I think we both got this wrong. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. That's right. Plus 17 hundo. Yeah, so we have to fix this. We have to fix this the way it's showing if you're clipping down into 0 or whatever. I have to think about how I'm going to fix that. Ooh, this is a tough one. I don't think I would put a vote in on this 1000 round. This is too unpredictable. Maybe it's going to bounce down into 1. But I don't think so. Yeah, see, look at that. I think... it's going in 3. And I reduced it, so there's only 3 voting sections now. There used to be 4, and it was too many. And we're not showing quite as much anymore of the final, like, trajectory. Yeah, I think the payout thing is good. I need an effect when the ball actually goes into the bucket. Like a little, like, shoo, or confetti or something. Just haven't got around to that yet. Yeah, so it keeps showing you as though you had your 500 to lose to go back to 0. And I think, yeah, that's just because I have the wrong... I have the wrong logic there. I guess ideally what would happen there... let you go negative. Well, what happened there ideally? See, oh, see, a level like this, I kind of like the rewind because it, like, shows the spinner, like, undoing itself. Which I thought made it a little more clear what was happening, but the fade out is a pretty good idea, too. Okay, so in the case where you had 0 points and you got it wrong, I think it should still show the minus number so you understand what was at stake, but then your 0 just stays a 0. Yeah. So we're going to need another number that we pass over into that thing. Boom, boom, boom. Neither one of us voted here, so we're going to get the free AFK round. You can be AFK twice in a row, and then it starts deducting after that. Which also means you could choose not to vote if you're in a position like mine where you have a pretty good score and you're too scared to lose it. Ooh. Ooh, this one's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going in 1. The reason I say that is if this is only the 1000-point round, it's only showing us a portion of the playback. So that means there's more bounces coming after this. Which is something you sort of get used to after seeing it play for a while. Like, what, like if you see, yeah, if you see the ball, if you see too much in the first one, yeah, because the rule, like what it's showing you a percentage of the overall path. And so if you see a lot in that first one, it means the path is quite long because that's only half the path or 40% of the path or whatever it's showing you in the first one. So that's a little tricky. Like here even, there's still a bounce remaining. And the question is it going to bounce back into 1? Yeah, or stay in 2, see? So dramatic turn of events there. Okay, I was AFK. Losing League, you got that one. Big time. Yeah, you predicted that entire sequence of events. Amazing. And okay, so now I'm going to stay AFK one more round because it should start deducting points. And I want to make sure it does. Then we should go fix the scoring display. And that may be about all we get to today. We'll see. kind of a chill stream today. I don't have a huge amount of energy to keep working on it. Probably gonna go relax. And this other project that I'm working on right now, we have a big deadline coming up, and the project is really cool, but it's not announced anywhere, so I can't really like work on it on stream or anything, which is kind of a bummer because I'm very excited about it. But once it's revealed, it's not an NDA exactly because it's my own project, me and a partner, but we have this opportunity to reveal it. So until that happens, we're not gonna spoil it. But I'm excited about it. Oh, hey, look at that. Okay, so that didn't quite sound like I was intending it to, but Callow Creations, hi. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Here, I'm gonna sorry. I set up a new sound to play when we get a raid, but it like played it like a million times. I don't know why. Apologies for that. Yes, Callow, thank you so much. Callow, I've been to your stream many times and played your awesome raid game. And so you might find it interesting that I am currently also working on a game that works with Twitch chat, and we're gonna fix. Well, maybe not. I wonder if that'll take too long. So, hello, raiders. My name is Wallaber. You might know me as a game designer who created a game called Jelly Car, which was kind of an early App Store successful, popular game. I worked at Disney for a long time, and I was the lead designer on Where's My Water there. And so I've recently gone sort of a full indie and released my first release, which is over there on the side. You can see the trailer playing for it. It's called Pro Gymnast. It's like gymnastics game, but with controls like QWOP. So you actually control directly the joints of the gymnast. Calibration is saying, cool, I have loads of fun with that rig game. Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm working on kind of a mini side project right now, which is a chat integrated game. So I can show it. I'm gonna leave it like it is right now. Let's play it. Okay, so imagine that what you're gonna see here in the center of the screen would actually be something that's like constantly sitting over on the side of my stream. And this is a prediction game. So basically, to play this game, all you have to do is guess which bucket the ball is going to end up in. And the way you play is just by typing the number of the bucket into chat. So for example, if you think it's going to go in bucket 1, you just type in bucket 1, or type in a 1, and you can see up there it says Wallaber voted. So you know your vote got in. And there's that thing at the top that says bet 500 1.25x payout, which means if you get in your guess right now, 500 points are at stake. And if you get it wrong, you'd lose 500 points. If you get it right, you'd get 500 times 1.25. So it's kind of like the odds. And then right now, because we're seeing more information about the ball's trajectory, it's only worth 100, or the bet's only 150, and it's a 1-to-1 payout. Oh yeah, Kello, I know I dropped by your stream in the past, and you were nice enough to look at the trailer for the game, so thank you very much. Yeah, so there we go. It went in bucket 1. So now we're going to see a recap here, and everyone who voted 1 is going to earn some points, and everyone who voted a different bucket is going to lose some points, and then the leaderboard's going to shuffle, and we'll reset. By the way, if you want to customize the look of this leaderboard, you can type !emote space, and then drop in any emote you have access to, and that will become your picture in the leaderboard. So I just said !emote, my little emote for my channel, and so now that's going to be me in the leaderboard. That's when you don't gamble guard lock, guard 1 Awk. Callow, oh cool, that is a cool emote, Callow. Nice. Yeah, so now everyone's gonna look a little more custom in the leaderboard. Now let's see, where's this going? This is hard to say, but I'm gonna say it's going in bucket 1. Yeah, so the idea is that this game is sort of okay, good, guard lock, got it. This is sort of like a game that would be constantly going on during, my stream or maybe anyone else's if they wanted to incorporate this game into it. And it's kind of something for a chat to do, you know, but it doesn't take over the entire stream is the idea. I think right now the pacing is a little fast, and so it probably needs like to be like really exciting and then have some downtime and then come back and then go away. So I got to think about that. But what I was doing today is, oh, and by the way, you cannot change your vote. If you change your vote, I just won't accept it. It puts a little message at the top there. Hey, look at those emotes. Looks pretty nice. Let's see. Any change? Oh, yes. So, guard lock. Rolling into second place strong there with a good guess. Now, this one's going to be a little tricky. So there's different layouts, as you can see. And then the starting condition of the ball, like where is it and what's its starting angle, is randomized as well. So it's not like you can memorize a board. You know, what's going to happen is different every time. Going for a 2 there, huh? I think that could be a good... I think it might bounce up and go in the center. Losing league saying it's going to the left. Now I'm in the lead right now, so I guess I should play it safe. And vote during this last bit here. Let's see what kind of information we get. Here it is. Oh, yeah. Okay. Losing league is roughly 1 for 10 for today's stream. I did make it a little harder, losing league. There used to be a tier where we almost showed the whole trajectory of the ball, and I got rid of that now. So even this last voting opportunity is still leaving a little bit of chance. Here we go. Boom. So in the bucket 1. So I will at least earn a small amount of points. Ooh, we've got a little shakeup here. Losing league. Popping back. The leaderboard is rapidly changing. I do like that. I like it to be kind of exciting. And we still have this scenario here where there is sometimes the ball's trajectory is kind of boring. This looks like it's going to be an example of that right now, where it's just going to fall down the right-hand side and go in bucket 3. And I'm still thinking about how I want to try and how I feel about that. Is that okay once in a while? You know, some people get a gimme if they're paying attention. They can get the vote in quick. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I could put some logic in, because what I'm doing is before you even see it, I simulate the ball. I already know, or not me, but you know, the game already knows what bucket it's going to go in, and it knows the whole path. And so what you're seeing here is this just replaying a section of the path it already knew. Guard log's like, I can't go with the crowd. I'm going to vote 2, even though the trajectory here is pretty clear. Sakello, thanks for joining into the game. If you have an emote you'd like to set for yourself on the leaderboard, you can just do ! Emote space, and then just plop in any emote that you like. Like, for example, I'm going to change myself to Jelly Car. And then that becomes your picture there in the leaderboard. So Guardlock and Sakello, unfortunately, did not go your way. But maybe the next round here. Kalogawan, major pog there. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. Yeah. Losing league, I've noticed, you always jump in with an early vote. You like to go for it. I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see a little more. I also don't use slow motion in Pro Gymnast. A lot of people don't, and I'm very surprised by that. That's funny. It looks like this is going in bucket 1, though. Like, I had a pretty strong bucket 1 feeling going on here. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the project I'm working on right now. I've got a few different things I want to do with it. I recently just added the ability to change the colors in the game. So this is you're seeing right now like a kind of Halloween color scheme, but I made it very easy where you can just make a text file, put in some different values, and you can change the colors of the entire game, which is pretty cool. So in theory, you could, you know, change it based on the season or what your stream looks like or whatever. Guardlock says, this is cool, good stuff. Thank you. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun making it. It's particularly fun because I'm working on it here on the stream, and then we can play test it and make it interactive with people in chat. So I enjoy that. Suggestion: Trail follows the ball all the way down. Yes, it should. I was thinking that as well, Losing League, and I meant to update that. That's a one-line change, so we can fix that in a second. Calcration says, "Love it. Thanks. Thank you very much." I've made it very narrow on purpose because the idea is it's actually going to sit in the stream, as part of the stream, not a game you go to once in a while. Although we'll see about that because I do think maybe it loses steam a little bit. Oh, Cal, you got a lurk? No problem. Thanks so much again for the raid. Very much appreciated. I can't believe I was streaming when you stopped because I know you always stream for such a long time. Okay, where's this one going, everyone? I feel like, is that dropping in 2 or is it going to bounce off again and go over to 3? I think it's going to 2. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Safe in 2. Yeah, that the trail does need to go all the way, definitely. Okay, so the scoring is still kind of encouraging if you're in the lead for you to just like stop taking risks, which is interesting. Yeah. Losing League, I think you got this one. Guardlock, I think you got this one. This is looking like a pretty strong one. This is again another scenario where it looks like what happens here is it just glances off the wall and doesn't really like, bounce around much. And maybe I should be like detecting that happened and then re-rolling the ball to try and get a more interesting outcome. I don't know. I think it's certainly not as interesting, but again, all we're doing is looking at the game. In theory, the game would also be running while the stream is going on. So a gimme like this isn't that big a deal, right? You just pop in your vote and pay attention to whatever's going on in the stream, right? So something to think about. Yeah. So I have a few other things on the to-do list for the game, although I won't get to them today because I'm going to be wrapping up relatively soon. This is a close race though right now with Guardlock, Losing League, and Saukello all within striking distance of each other. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Is that going in 2? Or is it going in 3? I'm going to get a lot more information on the next round. We'll play one more. We'll play this one, and then I'm going to... we'll stop the game, and I'll make a few fixes. Ooh. Now what, though? Is that going to go in 3, or is that going to rebound off back into 2? Yeah, so we're going to fix the scoring for the beginning of the round if you get the votes wrong. And we're going to fix the trail. And then maybe we'll switch the palette out just to play around with a different look. I don't really love this Halloween one all that much. Oh, and we're going to add a slight pause. Yeah, those are and we're going to fix 0 loss bug. Okay. Oh, Guardlock with the miss. Losing League and Saukello abstaining from voting that round. And it paid off. Now, you can go AFK for 2 rounds without any penalty, and then after that, you start losing points. So, in theory, if you were in the lead and then you leave the stream, and the stream keeps going, you would slowly fall down and other players could take over. Okay, let's fix the trail. The trail is really easy. It's here in the simulation section. And what we do is here we step the physics and then we add to the trail. And then down here, we have this little spot where we simulate some extra steps at the end to make sure the ball makes it all the way out of the board. And all we have to do here, in theory, is just append to the trail there as well. Okay, so that should do that. Let's do slight pause before rewind. So that, we're going to need a variable for that. So we're going to need, private float, reveal pause between loops. Sure. Let's do 0.5 seconds. I don't think it needs to be very long, but we made this a variable that we can tune. Okay, so we go to our reveal sequence here. Okay, here we are. Okay, so basically in here, for each step, down here, we're actually looping through the thing. And right here is where we're at the end of a loop, and we're about to rewind to show the next one. So in theory, this should be as simple as just saying right here, we're going to yield, return, new, wait 4 seconds of reveal, pause between loops. And that should be it. All right, so that should be the pause. Now let's go fix the issue with displaying score. So, okay, so for this, we need to look at our recap sequencer. So the way the recap thing works is for each player, we have their score and we have their change. But what we really want is we want to know the score before, and then we want to know the player score after, and we want to know the change, because those are actually different things. Okay, so then now what we got to do, and we're going to sort by, this is even better, we're going to sort by, when we lay out, let me think about this. Yeah. So this is going to be player score before. Okay. And whatever. Cool. Okay. Then the sequence is we turn off all the tiles. We wait for a little bit. Let me go through here and we reveal the tiles. Once we're done revealing the tiles, we show the score change. Okay, cool. And then we show the score change for the ones who lost points. That's good. Then we wait a little bit. Then we reshuffle. So this now needs to be not this. This needs to be b.player score after compared to a.player score after. Okay. And then we do the thing where they slide to their new positions. And okay, so now let's go up here. And where's the setup for this thing? Layout now, and we want you to pass in a bunch of player infos. Perfect. Okay. So now what we got to do is we got to go to our game manager. And we are going to have a situation here, I think, which is that what we have here now is we have their overall score and their score change, but we also need to know score previous score. Logic gets kind of confusing. Okay, so now what we do is here, the places where we actually change things. Right here, here's where you're gaining score, right? So we're going to say e.previous cumulative score equals e.cumulative score before we add to it, and then we add your score change. Perfect. Now, when you were wrong, here's the thing. When you're wrong, right here, we say e.previous equals e.cumulative score. And then we subtract, but we also possibly clamp. Cool. So, for example, we could be at 0 here, and then we try to remove 1,000 points from you, but we realize you need to just stay at 0. But that means we now actually know that that's happened because we have a 0 here and we have a 0 here, but this is a negative number. Okay, now same thing should be happening here, which means I probably could put this line in one place up above, but we'll just put it all together like it is. Why not? Why not? You know? It's fine. Okay. And that should be the only other place. This is the AFK place. And then down here, right. Then down here, we're going to say, okay, so player score before equals kvp.value.previous. And then player score after equals kvp.value.cumulative score. And then score change is just score change. So we're not doing any math here anymore. We're just passing along all that information. Okay, that should do it. I think that should do it. That should be all 3 fixes. Okay, so now what we need to do is fix our compiler errors. What do we got here? Player score is not a thing anymore. Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the tile, recap tile, which is the actual little like object in the leaderboard, each one has a script on it called recap tile. So we need to go look at this because this we have here we say what's their score, and then we say show a change, right? But really what we want to know is we want to know their previous score and their, yeah. So we have display score, and then we're going to have private int prev score, and then private int new score. And so we're actually going to pass both these in. We're going to say prev score int new score. And then we'll set here that prev score equals previous score passed in, and new score equals new score passed in. Whoa. New score equals new score passed in. And then we will set this to be prev score. And display score is going to be prev score. I don't even know if we really need display score anymore, but we'll leave it. Okay. Then when you say show change, we do our animation here. Yeah, and so display score. Now let's see, how does this work? This is saying display score is going to go actually, yeah, okay, got it. So display score is going to go, it was at prev, and it's going to go to new now. So right here, the new value is actually just new score. Oops. New score. Okay. And then yeah, this is when you earned points. And score change is going to be showing the actual change value. That's correct. And this is correct. So we just need to fix this here as well, where this is now going to be new score. Okay, we're almost done. Then we should have a compiler error somewhere in our recap thing, right? Because tile, oh, not there, it's going to be here. Yeah, we should have a thing right here. And so what we actually want to be passing in here is prev score, which is pi dot score before, and then pi dot score after. This is getting really long, so I'm going to plop some of this onto new lines so we can see it a little easier. Okay. Okay. So now, do we still have a compiler error? No, we do not. Okay, so now what should happen is, oh, wait. I wanted to swap out the palette while we're at it. So to do that, we just open up this file, which is just a little JSON file. And we're going to switch to my current favorite, which is ice cream. Okay, so now when we run it, we should get different colors. We do. Don't really love the black outline on that text. But now, let me try... okay, I'm going to purposefully guess wrong on this one, because I want to see that I had 0 points. It stays at 0 points, but it shows that I theoretically lost however many. But it's a little too early. I don't even know where it's going to go right now. Let's watch this a little more. Where's this going? Looks like it's going to come down, bounce in between those two bottom pegs. I'm going to wait one more. Okay, here we go. Doom, doom. Okay, well, I don't think it's going in 3, so I'm going to guess 3. Okay, now this is still showing as white. It's text. So I need to double check that. It should be, with this palette, it should be the darker kind of reddish brown color. Okay, let's see, where did it go? Dink, dink, dink. Went into 1. The trail went the whole way, so that's good. Okay, so there's 0, and it shows minus 150, and I stayed at 0. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, now let's try earning some points. Oh, we have a little pause here. Look. Oop. Rewind. Oh, much better, right? Much better. That has a much better feel to it. Boop. Zoop. Boop. Zoop. I feel like I'm playing the rewind effect during the pause, which seems a little strange. Probably should happen after the pause. It's probably just I need to move things down a line or two. Dink, dink. Where's this going? I think it's going in 2. We shall see. So we may need some more palette options to set the outline color or something. Or maybe I go for more like a drop shadow kind of thing instead of an outline. Ooh, I don't know. This looks like it's going in 2, but it could actually sort of like cheese over into 3. Let's see. Oh, it did. So I did not get that right. So there, in theory, I lost another 500 points. Okay, cool. All right. Now, that's going in 2, right? It might not be though. Actually, it might bounce off the. It might bounce off the divider. So I wonder why that color is not getting set properly. Guidelock's with me on this though. I'm going for the 2. Okay. I don't know though. I see how it's like curving down just a little bit. I feel like it's going to hit the divider. But the question is, what happens after it hits the divider? Is it going to like just go into bucket 2? Or is it going to twink over to like bucket 1? I think it's going to be the... Let's see. Here we go. Oh! Where is this going to end up? This is going to be nice. The zoom dramatic reveal at the end is going to be really full of anticipation here. Here's a weird question. Should this game have any sounds? Like, if you're going to run it during your stream, probably not. Oh my god. Clay, aka SCR-183, with the last second snipe, and is going to get 150 points. Oh, what? Oh, you said 2. You said 2. For some reason, I thought you said 3. Nobody got that. So SCR-183, this is the new scoring system that we just spent today working on. So now the point value you see up there is more like a bet. So you're betting 1,000 points. If you get it right, you get a 1.5x payout. If you get it wrong, you lose 1,000 points. Guard lock going with the 3, huh? I mean, that's a pretty smart bet. The question, right, is how bouncy is this spinner? Like, how much is the ball going to rebound off of it? Okay, not much, but it got the spinner going pretty big. Is that going in 2 or is that going in 3? I don't know. We need to look into why the text... So it's really hard to see, but there's some text right here that should have been colored based on the palette, but did not. And so we need to look into why. Oh my goodness. What's going to happen here? It's going to hit that spinner one more time, isn't it? It's going to bounce down into 2? Or is it going to sort of... Thing's going to rotate right out of the way and it's going to go into 1? Here we go. Let's find out. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my... So dramatic. Nobody got that. Yeah, right? Should a game like this have any sounds at all? Should it just have optional sounds for a few things you could turn on and off? Tough call. Ooh. Ooh, I don't know where this is going. Probably in 3? Depends on where it hits on this next bounce. Guard lock. Lock it in the 2, huh? Ooh. Ooh. That could be good. That could be good. That could be a proper 2 about to happen right there. But there could be some rebound happening here in a second. I'm going to go... Let's be all in this together. And then after this, I guess I'll probably... Oh, man. Still might go in 2, though. It depends on how much bounce we get off the wall there. It looks like it already bounced off the wall, though, and it's going to hit that little angled piece. This is looking more and more like a 3. Here we go. Oh, nice. That was pretty great. That was pretty great. All right. So guard lock, because of your early prediction, we have a leaderboard change finally. Okay, so now 625. I want to try and get it wrong on the first one and see that number go down to 0. So where's this going? I don't think it's going in number 1. So I want to try and lose 1,000 points here and make sure that the logic works properly. All right. Here we go. 3, I think 3 could be good. Could be a 2 as well. If it kind of like doesn't go too far to the right here. and then sort of like just falls down the middle. Let's see. I wonder if I should make the payouts a little bit more dramatic. Like the first one could be 2x, and then 1.5x, and then 1. I think it might be better, actually. Okay, here we go. Ooh, look at that. Dang. Okay, so now I should lose all the way down to 0, but it should show a minus 1,000 for me. Minus 1,000, down to 0. Good. Okay. So we fixed most of the bugs with the new scoring. Now, why doesn't this text... Oh. Yeah, why isn't this getting set? Because if we look at ice cream, the UI text on this palette, yeah, is certainly not white. It's like I guess that's the brownish color. Which means, you see the way this works is it because I don't know. Let's see. Wait, this should be added to the prefab. But if we go look at this, I have this script on here called use color from palette. Oh, because this is a UI. No, it's not UI. Never mind. Just kidding. Just kidding. Let's go look at the script. This script is really dumb. All it does is on start, it tries to find something it knows how to set the color on. Like a shapes object, which is the graphics library I'm using for most of the 2D shapes. Or a text mesh pro object for text. And then it says, hey game palette, what color you got for me? And then it goes down here, and if any of these are non-null, it just sets the color. So why shouldn't that work? It's in start, and our palette gets loaded earlier. Let me see if I can look up how that happens. Game palette right here. So game palette has load from file, and that is called from here. We have this method which gets called before the scenes are even loaded, and it finds the palette and parses it, which means game palette has like valid values. So let's go look at something. This text, can we colorize it? Yeah, we can. Okay, so it's not like I had some weird thing there. Oh, are we setting the color? Are we setting the color manually somewhere? Let's go look at that. So what is this thing called? Event log? Okay. So when we update things, we refresh things. We're fading. We're fading in the text, and we've hard-coded it to white. Okay. So I guess what we do instead here, let's do this. So rather than putting this script on here that just blindly sets it, we're going to get rid of that. Gone. And then what we're going to do instead here is we're just going to have a private color, text color. And then this is going to get set in start. What's our text color? And then we just say text color equals game palette dot get color, and we pass in the usage type of UI text. Okay, and then we use this in the places where we set the color on things, such as this. Now I suppose, I bet this thing has, let me look, text.do fade. So there was also, it looks like there's an option here where you could say fade in without having to specify the full color. Which may have actually been a better idea, because now I think about this, this dot from is screwed up too. These would need to be... I don't like this code very much. But this is going to fix it. So now, when I run this, the little text log should match the theming of the thing. So now if I put in a vote like this, it says Walder voted in pretty color. Nice. Okay. And it faded in, which was pretty cool. So if I try and vote again, what's the deal with that? Do we have another spot somewhere where we are doing color related things? Yeah, it was right here. Right. Why would we... Oh, this is because we were going to support the idea of having like different colored things going on. We don't really need to do that, so we could just do this. Okay. Is that going to do it now? What have I done wrong? Didn't like something. Oh, we've got some fading going on here. Okay, so we'll just do this. Color C equals text color. That's why. Okay. All right. So I think that now, fully and properly, we should have put in a vote. It's the right color. Put in a different one. They all look nice. Okay. Oh, and we need to fix... Sorry for spamming the chat. Playtesting a chat game. Sorry about that. Looks like I'm just talking to myself in the chat. Now let's go back here and let's fix the rewind particles were happening at the wrong time, which should be in game manager. And right here. Yeah. So this needs to be down here. Okay. Like that. Okay. Okay. Let's see. We could go over real quick and we could look at Trello. So we switched to a betting point system. We double checked this code. We did not double check this code yet. That's pretty much all we did today. We also fixed some bugs. Yep. Okay. Let's change the thresholds here to be... Where is it? Here. We're going to make it 2x and then 1.5x. And we'll make the last one 250. I think we got to squish these values together a little bit so that I don't know. So it's a little easier to catch up and it's a little easier to lose ground. I think the game is, you know, a little more fun when there's action. Oh, you know what we need to remember here? Yeah, we need... So these are not all in progress. Why do I have these in progress? These are just all things I want to do next. Including... store emoji preferences, or emote preferences, and all-time leaderboard data. So we should get that in soon, because it's a little annoying that you have to type emote every single time right now. So we need to be able to save and load that. And we also want an all-time leaderboard, which I also want to be displaying somewhere. I'm not sure where yet. Maybe down at the bottom. We've got some space down at the bottom of the buckets. Yeah. Yeah, like, I think it might be cool if, like, if there was, like, a... something like this, this. So imagine there's something like this. Oh my goodness, where even is this? Okay. Like that. Down at the bottom, and then there's sort of like a little like ticker of text that's kind of like scrolling along down there, saying some stuff. Yeah, maybe it looks like that. And then there's like... Let's see. There we go. Yeah, something like this, you know? Or whatever. And we would set this to do that. And so this thing would sort of like slide along like this, you know? Say different things. Like a message would come by, and then it would pick the next thing it wants to say and slide that by. Oh, and in this case, it should be like, you know, something like this. Or something, you know, it shows the score. You know. Yeah. I think that's the basic idea for how I want to do it. Okay. All right. I think this is a good stopping point for today. So maybe in like raw number of tasks, did not get a lot done today, but we did redo the scoring system to the new betting system, which was a fairly meaty amount of code changes. So we got that done and fixed up the recap thing. And then we did a bunch of little quality of life things. We added a slight pause before the rewind. The trail goes all the way out of the edge. We improved the way that the recap communicates what points were at stake while still making sure you can't go into negative points. Yeah, that was the majority of it. I feel like there's maybe another bug or two in there that we fixed as well. Oh, we've double checked that the code for if the ball gets in a scenario where it doesn't make it to a bucket is in fact working, and reduced the timeout on that, so that's a little more rapidly able to find a good roll, so to speak. And yeah, so next time, probably going to work on storing so we can get a leaderboard going. Let's do this, like add leaderboard taker. Whoa, see, there it is again. The sound is playing like multiple times. Sorry, Gerlock, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. And sorry for the sound effect there. I don't know why it's like triggering multiple times. Apologies there. I did change the sounds. This is the first stream where I have heard them in the wild. I don't know why it's like playing them multiple times. So, sorry about that. If anyone was wearing headphones right now, that may have been super annoying. My apologies. Yeah, thanks for the follow. And this is pretty good. I think we'll next time, like I was saying, we'll work on maybe just saving and loading some basic data. So we'll have your emote preferences saved. So then what'll happen is that'll be stored on disk when we launch the game. I don't think we'll do anything special. We might just load up your preferences into memory somewhere. Or maybe not. Maybe just look at it on disk when it happens. And then when we see a player vote for the first time and we're realizing we need to add them into the active player list, we can go check and see, hey, do we know them? Have we seen them before? Do they have an emote preference? Oh, they do. Let's get that emote loaded, you know. And then it'll just default to that's the one. And you can always override it by using the emote command. And then while we're in there, we can store the all-time high score per player. Like every player we've ever seen, what's their highest score they ever achieved, even if they went down afterwards, you know, just like their high water mark. And then we could write up a little ticker that shows like the all-time top scores, which would be pretty cool. After that, we got to do a little cleanup on ball trajectories to try and make sure that we don't get as many boring ones. We got to put some confetti in the game. Do a little cleanup on supporting the different aspect ratios I want to support. And then the big one, we're going to add in like a dramatic round that happens once in a while. That's really designed to like shake up the scoreboard. And that's probably going to be a refactor day because I think we're going to want to pull out some of the code in Game Manager and put it into different pieces. Otherwise, it's going to get a little unruly. Cool. Okay. Let's go see real quick if there's someone in particular to say hello to on the way out here today. Wow. None of the game dev streamers I follow are streaming right now. So I guess that means I'm just going to go ahead and call it for tonight. So I would rather finish up and get to bed. Thanks everyone for coming by, and thanks again to Calo Creations so much for the raid. Really appreciate it. Yeah, feel free to give a follow if you want to follow along. I'll also be working on other game projects, you know, on this stream. This is mostly a game dev stream, as well as occasionally playing physics-based games. There's one that just came out called Teardown that looks amazing. And so I'm probably going to try and find some time to play that on stream at some point as well. I like to play games from other people making physics-based things and show some support. Guardlock, thank you, and thanks for the follow as well. And all right, we'll be back, I don't know, a couple days probably. I'm really busy on this other project I can't talk about, so streams are probably going to be a little uneven for a little while here until we get past the deadline that we're working towards right now. Then I'll have a little more energy to do these other projects and stream. But thanks everyone for hanging out. This was really fun. Have a good night or morning or whatever time it is. Bye.